Well, we are in the home stretch of Decision 2024 with just 5 days to go now until Election Day. Both presidential candidates are focused on battleground Arizona, holding events here in the Valley. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Kadiba Devine. We have coverage from both campaign events, but let's start with 12 News journalist Bianca Bono in Glendale, where former President Donald Trump is speaking to supporters at Desert Diamond Arena. Bianca?
Yeah, former President Donald Trump took the stage at about 8:55 or so, and in fact, he is still on the stage as we speak. I'm going to step out of the way so we could zoom in and show you what's happening here. But he's on stage right now with media personality and former Fox News anchor Tucker Carlson, who has been conducting a live interview of Trump for over an hour now. And this has been a pretty different atmosphere compared to a typical Trump rally, kind of like what we saw at ASU last week. This is unscripted, and so far the conversation has consisted primarily of Trump telling stories about his time as president and his relationship with national and world leaders. He's been naming a lot of names and talking about who he likes and dislikes in D.C., and the crowd of supporters who are packed into this venue appear to be very engaged and enjoying this more laid-back style event. At the start of this interview, in response to a question from Tucker Carlson asking if he has ever thought about quitting politics, Trump talked about how he is focusing on looking forward and not backwards. He also talked about how he believes he's doing in this presidential race. Take a listen.
We're doing well. I mean, now we're going to know in 4 days, but we're doing very well. I think we're leading by a lot. And if we can keep that cheating down, because they're a bunch of cheats, if we can keep that cheating down, we're going to have a tremendous victory. I think it'll go down as one of the greatest victories of all time. So we're going to have an exciting time.
Now, Trump's comments do come as elections officials here in Arizona have asked leaders across the country to turn the temperature down, specifically when it comes to election workers who have been targeted. But the theme tonight has certainly been positioning Trump as the candidate who will save America. And Trump talked about how he will bring strength to the economy and categorize the border as the #1 issue in our country right now. Now, back out here live, prior to President Trump taking the stage, we did hear speeches from a number of others, including former independent candidate for president RFK Jr., who has endorsed Trump. Tonight, in response to another question from Tucker Carlson, he was asked if RFK Jr. and Elon Musk would have prominent roles if Trump is elected. Trump responded, yes. Now, earlier tonight, we also heard Charlie Kirk of Turning Point USA confirm that this will be former President Trump's last campaign stop in Arizona before Election Day. We're live in Glendale tonight. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca, thanks. Vice President Harris also made a campaign stop in the Valley. 12 News journalist Sean Rice has more on her closing argument from the Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater.
When we vote, we win. Arizona, I'm here to ask for your vote.
The final push for the White House making its way through Arizona. Vice President Kamala Harris delivering what could very well be her last speech in the state before Election Day.
We love our country. And when you love something, you fight for it.
In front of thousands of supporters, her speech was a rallying cry, highlighting what she plans to accomplish if elected, like protecting reproductive freedoms and giving tax cuts to middle-class families, with an acknowledgement of what is at stake this election.
5 days left in one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime.
It just means a path forward for America, and it just means equality for a lot of people.
It's what a vote for Kamala Harris means to her supporters, who say it's much more than simply winning to them.
I've never seen this type of a situation where I feel like I'm voting for the democracy that my father fought in World War II, that my grandfather fought in World War I for. I feel like I'm voting for the future of this country and for democracy as we know it.
In Phoenix, Sean Rice, 12 News.
Sean, thanks. Harris did not touch on the border or calls for immigration reform. And at today's event, we did not have the chance to ask her a question about that topic.
Meanwhile, both candidates for vice president will make stops in Arizona on Saturday. Senator J.D. Vance is scheduled to visit Scottsdale for a rally at Dillon Precision. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will make a stop in Flagstaff Saturday afternoon before heading down to Tucson for a campaign event there. New tonight, the Phoenix Police Department has released additional records involving the sexual harassment claim against the Democratic sheriff candidate Tyler Camp, stemming from his time as a lieutenant in the department.
12 News journalist Joe Dana reviewed the records and explains why they're just coming out now.
The city substantiated the complaint that Camp violated the sexual harassment policy in his treatment of a rookie officer back in 2020 and 21. These new documents show us for the first time more details about how the woman says she felt scared, alleging Camp held a position of power over her.
I strongly deny the allegation of harassment.
During an interview with us in August, Tyler Camp said he made a mistake and apologized for the way he interacted with a rookie officer.
I did exchange a text message with a coworker that were mutual. Some were not respectful to my wife, and my wife and I have dealt with that years ago.
On Wednesday, the campaign for Jerry Sheridan obtained new documents of the department IA investigation. It came only after a citizen sued for the records and got a judge's order to release them. The records describe more details in the woman's own words. How she said over the course of several months of texts, phone calls, and in-person conversations, she felt Camp crossed boundaries she tried to establish, describing him asking her out, commenting on her appearance, and unwanted flirting, saying, quote, "I became very unhappy at work and uncomfortable." She said she did tell a coworker, but did not make a formal complaint until 2022 after Camp had retired from his job, saying, quote, "I was too afraid of losing my job under Tyler's supervision." This contradicts what Camp told 12 News.
When these text messages were exchanged, she was not working under my chain of command.
Tonight, the Camp campaign tells me Tyler was never interviewed for this IA investigation. And, quote, "Tyler has stated for months that while he regrets the situation, he did not engage in harassment. There has been a violation of Tyler Camp's rights to due process, considering he was never notified about this document being released 5 days before the election." Joe Dana, 12 News.
All right, Joe, thank you. And the clock is ticking down to Election Day. Make sure that you're ready by having the 12 Plus already downloaded on your TV. 12 Plus is where we'll stream hours of live coverage of the local and all the state races, as well as results as they roll into our newsroom. Just search for 12 Plus on your Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku.
And remember to check out our 12 News voter guide before you head to the polls. Just scan the QR code right now or go to 12news.com/voter guide. Once you enter your address, a personalized list of all the candidates and measures that will be on your specific ballot will pop up. You can also check your voter registration. Again, just go to 12news.com/voter guide.
A comfortable night to be outside for all those trick-or-treaters. Even a little bit chilly, I would say, Crystal. But that's good, right? We've got some more changes on the way. You're here with our weather impact forecast.
Yeah, you got it. Hey, do you like your temperatures in the 50s or 60s? We got a mix of that going on across the valley right now. So in Phoenix at 68, I'd say throw the windows wide open, let some fresh air in, but maybe you don't want to have them open too much, maybe just a little crack, because temperatures are continuing their decline while you're sleeping tonight. You could already see we've slipped into the 50s for neighborhoods in Surprise, Laveen, Tempe, and Chandler. We have chilled to freezing territory already in Flagstaff, Window Rock, and the Grand Canyon. Out towards Kingman, 47 right now, 57 in Globe. Here's what your very first day of November looks like. Temperatures spot on with seasonal standards. In fact, 83 is my warmest number, and it's a popular one. Got that going on for Tucson, Phoenix, Gila Bend, and Yuma. We'll be on the cusp of 70 in Sedona. Flagstaff will max out at 57 with a mixture of sun and clouds. Get used to the clouds because they're sticking around for the weekend as well, but they don't mean anything really until Sunday. That's when they're going to shake loose some raindrops and snowflakes. We're also going to get the winds wound up, and look at this. Temperatures are going to drop down once again. I have more in your full forecast coming up next.
Crystal, thanks. Tonight, we're learning more about the woman allegedly killed by her own son. The family is sharing this photo of 38-year-old Mary Collier. Her loved ones remembering her as a loving wife and mother, writing that Mary loved her family more than anything else. The Pinal County Sheriff's Office says Collier's 18-year-old son allegedly attacked her after an argument. A jogger found Collier's body in a dirt field not far from Gansel Road and Skyline Drive in Santan Valley. Officials haven't released the son's name, but say he is facing possible charges of first-degree murder. Also tonight, officials have lifted evacuation orders in Paulden after a fire broke out near Yellowstone Road earlier today. The fire burned 4 homes. Thankfully, no injuries have been reported. Tonight, it's unclear how the fire started.
The Apache County Board of Supervisors will stop paying their county attorney. Michael Whitting was indicted earlier this year, accused of misusing public funds. Now, investigators also say that he threatened someone who was trying to run against him against his wife, for superintendent. The Arizona State Bar has issued a suspension of Whitting's license that goes into effect tomorrow. The Board of Supervisors says that state law prevents them from paying him since he is no longer eligible for office.